Welcome to another episode of the Podcasting Podcast, how to get started with podcasting in your organization. In this episode, we're going to have a look at another example of vidcasting and podcasting, this time in a university. One of the world's leading research faculties in digital media, the Electronics and Computer Science School, that's ECS School, within the UK's University of Southampton, is one step ahead of the pack in its application of social media tools for communication. The school counts amongst its faculty over the years the inventor of the World Wide Web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, Professor David Payne, the inventor of the optical amplifier, and Professor Tony Hay, Corporate Vice President of Microsoft UK. Since 2005, the school's lectures and seminars have been podcasted and vidcasted, allowing students to run them again for revision or for the first time if they've missed them. A dedicated portion of the ECS website was resourced to host the podcasts. The ECS communication team began experimenting with turning their technology to its external faculty news. It seemed a great way to present our research to journalists in a visual and audio format, explained ECS's marketing and communication manager, Joyce Lewis. It provided an easy and compelling format for them to digest, and a terrific way to provide a cognitive link for them between our research and its potential coverage as a TV or radio news item. The result, ECS TV, provides a vital link between the university's research work and the outside world. The benefits, says Lewis, are numerous, especially in a department of only one, Lewis herself, plus one web designer. When we first started it, we were able to do it just by using the video conferencing technology we already had. Fixed cameras, operated remotely, and radio mics, she says. Editing the programs using the now defunct iMovie application that came with her computer, the whole production line was cost-free. That was the principal attraction of it in the first place. You can do this with a very small number of people and very few tools. It's high impact at no cost. The ability to turn around content quickly is an incredible advantage over previous forms of communication media, she says, and brings it closer to rivaling print. We were able to cover a conference last year and podcast about it each morning for the entire 4-day duration. Because the production is simple, it's really a case of a quick edit and you can get it out there. With a designer who has a background in TV production and an IT staffer, Lewis said we knew we already had the skill set to do a pretty good job. Podcasts and vidcasts are very often dependent on the quality and media friendliness of their subjects. In a population of non-media trained people, however, this can prove difficult. Joyce has advice to share from producing hundreds of broadcasts. The trick, she says, is patience and positive reinforcement. If the interviewee is fine off camera, she says, one must recognise that their stilted persona in front of the lens must only be a product of nerves and uncertainty, and can therefore be overcome with good supportive coaching. Here are her tips for getting the best out of interviewees. If someone is drying up in front of other participants, I've found it effective just to ask everyone else to leave for a while, the camera person and other interviewees, so that I can sit and talk to the person and walk them through the process in private. That takes away the intensity and the pressure. Some people are shy and introverted, and you need to help them relax. Taking away the sense of people are watching me can help enormously. In such a situation, Lewis will then often walk the participant through the questions and topics and engage them in a conversation about the leading topics before film begins. If they've had a chance to articulate their thoughts out loud to me before we start filming, even just once, it helps them feel that at least they know roughly where their sentences are going to go when we start filming. A vital element of any communication is feedback, And this is doubly important for those who've been nervous about performing in front of camera. You can do a lot with editing, so you can make them look good as they possibly can. But I'll then also go through the video with them afterwards, because then they see that they're never as bad as they thought they were going to be, or think they were. So it provides a vital opportunity to allay their fears, but also the chance to offer them encouragement. Simply showing them the footage and saying, "I think you were really good here. I like the way you said that," and so on, will put them at ease. They'll feel much happier about the process, and then they're much more likely to agree to do it again next time. And that's this episode of the Podcasting Podcast wrapped up. If you'd like to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss anything, head to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and search for the podcast by name. That is the Podcasting Podcast, how to get started with podcasting in your organization. And if something makes you sit up and want to talk about it further, you can always email me at lee@leehopkins.com. Please put Podcasting Podcast as the subject of your email, because I receive around 60 emails a day, and I'd hate to miss yours in the pile. You can even record your comment if you like. That would be fabulous. Next episode, we'll look at why podcasting is so popular, what sort of business items you can podcast, and how you can find great content for your podcast. Until next week, ciao.